From the studios of Farm Journal Broadcast, this is AgDay.
Help from above.
We've received multiple reports of cattle dying off because ranchers cannot get to their cows due to impassable roadways.
The incredible work done by rescuers in Northern California to help stop cattle caught in heavy snow from starving, taking sustainability to a new level.
It's all about carrying on the heritage for me.
Now one farmer is paving a new way to save and protect his soil. And changes are coming to USDA and FSA.
Ensuring that there is equitable representation on the county committees.
What it means for the agency many farmers have come to rely on right now on AgDay. Good morning, I'm Clinton Griffiths. USDA's Equity Commission recently recommended changes across the entire government agency. One of its more than 30 recommendations includes transforming the Farm Service Agency into, quote, a customer service organization that provides equitable treatment for all, end quote. AgDay's Michelle Rook talking with FSA's director, himself a minority farmer and a member of that Equity Commission, about those possible changes we could soon see.
Clinton Farm Service Agency Administrator and South Dakota producer Zach Ducheneau told me it's unfortunate that it took an Equity Commission report to help surface some of these issues. However, Secretary Vilsack has been clear about acknowledging the inequities of the past as a starting place to doing things better and different in the future. Some radical changes are coming in how USDA conducts its business with farmers, including a focus on outreach to those who haven't been exposed to the opportunities the department offers.
We'd already started to engage more meaningfully with our cooperators in those spaces, the Federation of Southern Cooperatives, Intertribal Ag Council, National Young Farmers, to ensure that they're getting the message at the same tempo as those that have a pretty well-established relationship with the department.
Despite talk in the country, he says USDA has no intention of eliminating the county committees and cannot by statute. But he does say the committees have created victims of discrimination that mandate change.
Ensuring that there is equitable representation on the county committees, not only for our historically underserved populations based on race, ethnicity, and gender, but also our organic producers, our specialty crop growers, our growing movement around urban ag.
One Washington insider says the report gives USDA legal leverage to focus on those underserved.
I think USDA has a good bit of discretion in their loan programs after they were trounced down once by the court saying you can't just help black farmers who might have been hurt, you got to help everybody. I still think there's a whole lot of discretion.
And she predicts some in Congress will also take recommendations from the report and offer changes in the Farm Bill, including a push by Representative David Scott for additional funding for the 1890 colleges. The Equity Commission will publish a final report, which will also include recommendations from its Rural Community Economic Development Subcommittee by the end of 2023.
While the East Coast digs out from a nor'easter, excessive rainfall and heavy snow are still an issue in the West. Just look at the damage done to this road in San Luis Obispo County. A reservoir there pushed to full capacity and it's spilling for the first time in about 18 years. Meanwhile, people living near the Sierra Nevada mountain ranges are dealing with feet of snow. Check out I-80 near Donner Summit with snow banks several feet high on either side. The mountain snowpack now near record levels above 50 inches and climbing, effectively ending the drought that has lasted 3 years in California. And now the latest round of snow from the west is pushing eastward. Meteorologist Chuck Heaver joins us with more.
Well, I sound like a broken record, but we have two storms. We still have that nor'easter that is finally cranking down on the east coast. And out to the west, we have more precipitation that came off the coast there in the Arizona Valley. That's going to work its way combined energy and then move over towards the Chicagoland area on Friday, late Thursday and into Friday, and then a chance on Friday for some severe weather down towards Memphis. Okay, it is maple syrup season. Indiana Farm Bureau sharing this video of Larry Yoder and his family in northern Allen County, showing how maple syrup is made. It's been made for 5 generations with the same family in this wooded area. It's so great to see the tradition continue. I bet they make some tasty syrup too. Okay, I'll have more on your forecast coming up.
An extension to the closely watched Black Sea grain deal appears to be in flux. A report from Russia says the country and the UN agreed to a 60-day extension of the shipping corridor, but Reuters saying talks continue after Ukraine rejected a reduced 60-day renewal, which is half of the term of the previous renewal. The deal allows ships safe passage to move grain from Ukrainian ports to other destinations around the globe. Now, Switzerland is reporting a case of atypical bovine spongiform encephalopathy, or BSE. It reports it was found in the eastern region of Griffiths. A 12-year-old cow was sampled late last month at slaughter as part of a surveillance program. So far this year, we have reported on other atypical cases in the Netherlands and Brazil. Brazil temporarily halting exports of beef to China last month due to the discovery. Meanwhile, avian influenza continues to expand in South America. This week, Chilean authorities confirmed its first outbreak of avian flu in poultry. That's prompting Chile to now suspend chicken exports. The country's ag minister says the case was found at a campus belonging to a meat producer in the western part of central Chile. This is the first commercial case there. There had previously been positive tests in wild animals. Now it hopes to resume exports in about 28 days. Back here in the U.S., Tyson is shutting down 2 chicken plants. The plants are located in Glen Allen, Virginia and Van Buren, Arkansas. Combined, they have almost 1,700 employees. Last month, the company missed Wall Street estimates for its quarterly profit. Tyson had predicted strong demand for chicken at supermarkets last November and December, and that chicken would fill a gap caused by reduced beef and pork production. But meat supplies turned out to be larger than expected. Corn and wheat staged a recovery on Tuesday despite those macroeconomic jitters. Can they build on it going forward? We'll discuss that next in analysis. And later, as snow piles up, emergency crews are rushing to help stranded cows in California. We have a view from above in the country.
Don't delay. Enter your bracket today to be part of the 2023 Bracket Busters Challenge presented by Case IH. First prize is $1,000, second is $500, and third walks away with $250. Head to agweb.com right now to fill out your bracket.
Tractor sales continuing to have a slow start so far this year. A flash report from the Association of Equipment Manufacturers reports the sale of all tractors last month was down 19% from the same month last year. Now, it reports more than 14,000 tractors were sold in February. For the year so far, two-wheel drive smaller tractors are down 26%, while 40 and under 100 horsepower are down 10%. However, sales of larger two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive units are up. Combine sales also continuing to push higher, with more than 1,000 sold, representing a 149% increase from last year. Corn having a better day on Tuesday after USDA reported a flash sale of old crop corn to China, 24 million bushels worth. Michelle Rook is back with a look at other issues impacting prices in this morning's markets now.
Kent Beadle with Paradigm Futures is joining us with market analysis. And Kent, we were able to see a recovery in the grains on Tuesday. Did the markets just divorce themselves from some of this macroeconomic concern tied to the bank debacle?
Well, I think that there was a big sigh of relief in the banking industry. I think investors looked under the covers and saw that Silicon Valley was maybe a little bit unique in its way that it had invested deposits, and most of the other banks were properly risk managed, and there wasn't as big a problem as people feared there might be yesterday.
So that's absolutely good news, but these markets, the grains were really oversold after all the fund selling pressure that we've recently seen. So was some of this just a little technical bounce?
Well, I think it was driven by a couple of things. We did have a long-awaited announcement of some Chinese corn sales. 600,000 tons was very happy to see that, and it was the size that we might anticipate more. We've heard rumors there might be another 1.2 to 1.5 million tons that were actually sold that we'll see later on. So I think that helped.
Right.
We also had a decline in wheat condition ratings, and the wheat market led us a little bit today. So I think the combination of those two things and the oversold conditions is what led to the bounce.
So do you anticipate we're going to get much more recovery in these grains?
I think that we certainly can. I feel as though a lot of this weakness was speculative liquidation. Our CFTC reports are still well behind, and we're going to catch up on those here over the next couple of weeks. I think we're going to find that a lot of that speculative link has been liquidated out, and that could give us an opportunity for a much better boost in price.
All right, let's hope, because we could see a little boost here in the grains, which would be very welcome. Thanks so much for joining us, Ken Beadle with Paradigm Futures. We'll have more AgDay coming up.
AgDay is sponsored by Germinator Closing Wheels. Germinator steel closing wheels, perfected in conventional, excels in no-till. Order 12 to 16 rows today and qualify for free shipping or 20% off an end zone moisture management package.
Meteorologist Chuck Hebert joining us here with a national look at our forecast. And as we talk about that nasty nor'easter out there in the east, kind of winding down, but plenty of rain out west.
Yeah, that was a crazy storm moving up the coast. But out to the west, yes, we have rain in the Arizona area, and that storm is headed towards Chicago. Let's take a look. All right, we're going up to the jet stream to see where the storms are headed. And if you look here off on the east coast, yes, the nor'easter, but that's going to push out. And then we're going to see relatively mild conditions through most of the country, except for these lobes of colder air pushing across the northern part of the United States. The southern part of the United States is zonal. So we're going to have, again, mild conditions. Then most of the cold air is bottled up to the north, and then more cold air intrusion off to the west. Still want to point out the drought monitor from March 9th. That shows dry conditions down the center part of the country. But overall, we are not in that bad of a situation, of course, with the dent out to the west with all the precipitation that came in, and off to the east, not bad, especially considering a lot of the country was in exceptional drought or extreme drought prior to all this onslaught of rain. Now, the bad thing about all that precipitation is that it's got to melt and it's got to run off, and so we're going to see a lot of nasty conditions out on the west coast. This nor'easter is finally winding down, but what a mess that created. And of course, these remnants from the latest Pineapple Express running through the Arizona Valley there. And then over in the Chicagoland area, South Bend, we're going to see a lot of rain and a potential on Friday for some severe weather down to the south. Look at the precipitation forecast. We've got a lot of precipitation with the recent storm, and that'll continue as those storms migrate across the country. And of course, the west coast is going to see more precipitation in the form of rain and snow, and then off to the east as well. Snowfall estimates, of course, out in the mountain west, we're going to see snowfall, and then up to the north with this storm, we're going to see a lot of snow lay down up there. For temperatures, we're talking 52 in Chicago, 37 over in Billings, Brownsville, the warm spot, or over in southern Florida at 75 degrees. For tonight, our temperatures are going to go down, but still relatively mild. Of course, a cold spot here, 11 at Omaha. And for tomorrow, our temperatures nicely rebound, 58 in St. Louis, Phoenix, Arizona, 72 degrees. All right, let's take a look closer to home. Denver, Colorado, look at that temp drop. 71 for the high, 29 for the low. Wow, only in Denver. There's Concord, New Hampshire, snow then sun, 38 and 27. And Fayetteville, Arkansas, high 61, low 50 with sunshine.
Closed captioning on AgDay is brought to you by BASF, helping you do the biggest job on Earth. The American Soybean Association Conservation Legacy Awards are brought to you by Bayer. Bayer is committed to delivering better solutions for farmers while enabling them to operate more sustainably. Bayer, science for a better life.
We continue to introduce you to farmers paving a new way when it comes to conservation. This morning, we introduce you to a Wisconsin producer whose conservation legacy is all about changing attitudes. Travel to northwest Wisconsin, and you'll stumble upon a Wisconsin farmer cultivating success through conservation.
My grandfather dairy farmed, my father dairy farmed, and I don't dairy farm, I grow the crops.
An area admittedly better suited for cows than crops has been an environment of constant learning for Thomas Perlick and his family.
It's not prairie soils. They're very, very fragile. We have a lot of lakes, we have a lot of streams.
Perlick quickly learned not every acre is meant to be farmed, so in the early 2000s, he put in a wetland restoration project.
We seeded it down to prairie grasses, big blue stem, little blue stem, and Indian grass, and they have taken a very long time to establish. We put some forbs in. We've had some scrapes where it can hold water.
And in order to preserve his fragile soils, he added no-till and cover crops.
Without proper equipment, it's almost impossible to do a very good job of no-till. And that really has helped us a lot to make sure we get the right down pressure, the right closing on the seed furrow. That has really made a significant difference.
Perlick likes to use barley, oats, and tillage radishes as his cover crop mix.
Because those three crops don't overwinter, so they die, so I don't have to go in and terminate something in the spring. I can just go in and plant it.
Today, his soil health is thriving, with small changes producing a big difference. A livelihood that's also helping this century-old farm to thrive, as Perlick's constant effort to improve the land is also planting seeds of success for the future.
If our kids decide to farm, or grandkids decide to farm someday, they have a farm that's viable, has good soil, good yields, and it's all about carrying on the heritage for me.
Congratulations to the Perlick family, the 2023 regional winner of the American Soybean Association's Conservation Legacy Award. And you'll meet our final American Soybean Association Conservation Legacy Award winner tomorrow. Up next, see how this hay made its way to starving cows in California. A behind-the-scenes perspective on a life-saving hay drop in the country.
The American Soybean Association's Conservation Legacy Awards are brought to you by Nutrien. Nutrien's commitment to growing the world from the ground up means taking our role in protecting the planet seriously. Nutrien, feeding the future. In the Country on AgDay is brought to you by Pivot Bio. What if you had the nitrogen you need already on seed? Pivot Bio is the first company to apply nitrogen on seed. The nitrogen you need, now on seed, from Pivot Bio. Learn more at pivotbio.com.
We showed you earlier this week ranchers in California getting a big helping hand from above to keep cattle fed as the snow continues to pile up. The California National Guard delivering hay to stranded cattle in Humboldt County. But there's been a lot going on behind the scenes to make Operation Hay Drop happen, as rescuers with the Humboldt County Sheriff's Office show us.
As we know, we've had some unprecedented weather over the last 2 weeks now. We've had snow in our mountains, and on Saturday I received a phone call from Supervisor Bushnell, who said that she's been receiving lots of inquiries regarding what can be done about the starving cows in the ranching community in southern Humboldt. We've received multiple reports of cattle dying off because ranchers cannot get to their cows due to impassable roadways. These are private roadways. That's through snow and down trees. And so they want to know what can be done. One of the ranchers that's been around for a while said that, in the 80s, when the snow was so prevalent and they couldn't get to the ranches, they called upon CAL FIRE and the Coast Guard to help deliver hay out in those communities. As a sheriff's office, we're the director of emergency services within the county, so we're helping coordinate this, and we're asking our regional partners to assist with this.
We were glad to help. This request went through our chain of command as well as the Governor's Office of Emergency Services.
And that's when they essentially took over air operations. And we have about 30 ranchers that have reached out to us. Diana Totten, Fire Chief from Southern Humboldt, is coordinating the contacts with all the ranching community. We talk about how many head of cattle do we need to be fed, what's the exact location where we think the cattle are, and then we provide that information to our CAL FIRE folks. Logistically, they figure out where they can safely deliver that, because the weather has been so hit and miss over the last couple of days that they're trying to fly in between the weather and trying to figure out where they can actually deliver this. The hay is coming from private sources, and it's going to be paid for by the ranches that it's going to be delivered to.
This is an atypical type of operation, but it shows the resilience and the effectiveness of cooperating with various agencies so that in total we can better serve the communities that are affected.
We won't really know until there's snow melt how many actual head has died off due to these conditions. But I know this for certain, if we don't act, there's going to be way more that die, and it'll be a catastrophe for our county.
And our thanks to all of those taking part in Operation Hand Drop. From all of us here at AgDay, that's all the time we have this morning. We're sure glad you tuned in. Have a great day. Have fun.